Alright everybody, I guess you could call this video more of a rant, but also a lesson. It's kind of a hybrid of the two because I'm very passionate about guitar. I'm very passionate about teaching guitar and playing live and everything guitar. And I'm just going to use my own experience from when I started learning guitar to help you today. And I'm also going to kind of pull in some case studies of people that I've worked with and I've helped with on the guitar with essentially, why is nobody getting good? Why is it so hard for people to be able to solo? Why is it so hard for people to be able to learn theory, okay? And I'm going to go into the basic answer about practicing, but then tie that into the more structural, organic source of guitar, which is like the environmental stuff of just everybody's brought up this way, okay? So let me tell you what I mean. So first of all, the thing is yes, guitar has a serious problem where we attract a lot of people who look at this thing and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. It would be so cool if I could do that, right? And that's great. Like, we need more guitar players, right? It helps fund the industry and stuff and helps get more people playing or like going to live shows. It gets more people buying guitars and it helps boost the guitar economy, so to speak, right? But the problem is you're also attracting a lot of people who tend to just want the result of the guitar and don't like the process of learning the guitar, okay? Because the guitar is a long instrument. It takes a really long time to get really, really good at this thing, okay? So what I really want to like drive home here is you gotta practice. You gotta practice. I recommend finding a teacher too if you want to work with me. Link below, book a free session. But the biggest problem with guitar is it's one of those very few instruments where it's become okay to not care about it and to just kind of do the bare minimum. Like, if you look at the discipline of the violin or the piano, although the piano is starting to fall into this too, it's a lot less of an egotistical instrument. But this is a very egotistical instrument. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm telling you how it is. So, and I'm not just talking about beginners. I'm talking about guitar players that I've played with on stage who I'm like, dude, you need to practice. And they are like, oh yeah, I've been playing for 20 years and I'm in this band and stuff and we're awesome, and they're drunk and then they sound terrible, they haven't practiced, they don't know everything, you know, they gotta stop in the set. And these are real stories, by the way, I'm not just making this up. So I want to make sure that that's clear before I go into the underlying issue too with that, which essentially has to do with that relation to the violin and the piano, which is like, why is it totally okay for guitar players to not learn music theory when all other instruments are like, music theory is a part of it? It's not a choice, it's a requirement. But for some reason with this instrument, it's totally fine to not practice and to not learn any music theory. And I get it, tabs are a thing, right? I totally understand that tabs are a thing, that chord charts are a thing. And if you're just trying to like play songs and you don't care about getting like decent at the guitar, that's great, right? You have the freedom to do that. However, if you're trying to be a good guitar player, like a solid guitar player, what is so wrong about learning the circle of fifths? Like, what is so bad about learning what triads are and how to use them? What is so bad about learning major scale versus minor scale and the difference between the two? How do you interact with them, right? It's crazy to me. Okay, so that's part of the issue is y'all, I'm speaking to you and myself because I grew up with this too. We all grew up without learning any theory. We were basically either told this, that it's not important at all and you'll never need it, or you're brought up to like sight read, right? And that's not really as applicable as it used to be. People don't really sight read as much as they used to, but you gotta understand what's going on in this dang fretboard, okay? So that obviously can be very frustrating, especially when, you know, I'm talking to people and I try to tell them like, you should try some theory, and they're so against it because they think that it'll like halt their creativity, or they'll think that it'll just ruin everything for them, and like they won't, you know, they won't write good music. And everybody who knows theory knows from experience, theory will make you a way better composer and writer, 100%. And the best part is you can always just turn that part of you off. If you're really like, I don't want to think about theory, don't think about it. Just do it. Just play. Like, you could still pull that previous version of you back if you really needed to, but you wouldn't even want to at that point if you know theory. Okay? So, with that being said, that is kind of what the problem is with guitar players, is we're brought up just to learn songs, just to play tabs, and to not care about the theory aspect. On top of that, it's also very acceptable for guitar players to all have different whacked out techniques, right? Everybody is doing these like weird things with their picks. People aren't relaxed on the guitar. It's like, it's become acceptable for people just to not care, essentially, and I think that's really irritating. Okay? Now, another thing to kind of factor into is that the guitar is a casual instrument, and I understand that. So some people don't want to be a professional, or some people don't want to be as good as they can be. They just want to have fun with it. And I'm like, listen, I feel like that's, again, it goes back to every other instrument that I've talked about. People want to have fun with it, but they know that you got to put in the grind and the work and the elbow grease with any instrument, and it'll make it even more fun anyway, right? So, again, highly encourage you to not be lazy with this thing, right? Now, it doesn't really help, too, that there are a lot of guitar players that are professional out there who actually just like don't practice. They don't practice what they preach, and that can really mess things up too. But those are just some of my thoughts with these things. I would love to hear kind of what you guys are thinking in this zone too. Do you think I was right? Do you think I was wrong? Do you think I was missing anything? I feel like I had a lot more thoughts, but I'll see you guys in the next video.